What's going on, guys? So I'm back today with another video, and I'm really excited to do this because I've been trying to get caught up recently on some films released in 2021 that I've heard a lot of buzz about but haven't had a chance to watch. Yeah, going through this catalog, one of the ones that really stood out to me, and I talked about this in my Creep video, which I'll put a link up for, is how much I appreciate Mark Duplass as a person in the independent film community. Mark spends his time really making content that matters to him, and that's what I really respect about him as a filmmaker, is that the projects that he chooses and the things that he wants to do are to convey a specific type of message. And that's relevant in his filmmaking because, you know, at this point, him and his brother Jay, they're so successful they could step out and do whatever they wanted. They've got the support, they've got everything that they would need. What I love is they choose these really small, independent films to work on that have such a deeper and more meaningful thing to say than a lot of big budget Hollywood films. The movie I'm going to talk about today is Language Lessons. So Language Lessons is directed by Natlie Morales and stars Natalie Morales and Mark Duplass. And this movie is really simple. It's about Mark Duplass plays a gay man who lives in essentially a mansion with his husband, and his husband purchases him Spanish lessons online because Mark Duplass, as we're shown throughout the film, speaks incredibly fluent Spanish, understands the language, but really feels like he's falling out of it. And Natalie Morales is his Spanish teacher, and they do all of their lessons over Zoom calls. And that's pretty much the plot of the film, is the two of their relationship building over this long period of time and the things that occur in their life to move the plot forward. Obviously 2020 was rough on everyone, and COVID really changed the way the world operates, and that reigns true for filmmakers as well. Sets were closed for a really long time. There wasn't an ability for filmmakers to be able to create content on a set unless it was in a very specific area with people that they know or had been exposed to. And so because of that, there's been a lot of films made recently and television episodes about COVID in particular, and they really focus heavy on the COVID element. And you know, and after dealing with it for a year, it's the last thing that anyone really wants to hear about because we live it on a day-to-day basis. It was really refreshing to watch a movie that was filmed during quarantine and during COVID that doesn't take its time drawing out that it's COVID or even explicitly ever saying it's COVID. It's two people doing these classes together over the internet and the relationship that they build through that. And that's something that can translate over time, even in a couple years, with how prevalent Zoom has become and how many people understand what Zoom is and how to use it. It'll be a movie that still works in the next 20 years because people will know what it's referring to, and because they don't specifically say COVID, you can really, you know, get a grasp on this movie could be played out in any of a more recent time period. And that's what I really liked about it. It didn't focus heavy on that. It didn't spend any time about that. It's about these two characters and their interpersonal connection. Yeah, I don't want to give too much of the plot away because there's a lot of big plot twists that occur really early on in the film, and I think it's elemental to the film's message and how well the payoff is. But what I really loved about this movie in particular is the chemistry between Mark Duplass and Natalie Morales, and how the two of them just build this bond right out of the gate because of an event that occurs. And watching their relationship and the dynamic between these two characters is really fascinating because Mark Duplass in this movie is a very open book. He's clearly a very empathetic and caring individual who's been put in this situation in his life where his husband has a lot of money, and he, you know, never had money before, and he never lived this wealthy lifestyle, and he just wants to help and give back and care for people. And he's very much an open book. He talks about his life very openly. He doesn't hold off. And then you have the polar opposite, which is Natalie Morales' character, and her character is very closed off, very unwilling to open up and tell how she's feeling or experiences in her life that have shaped her to be the human being that she is. I found that dynamic to be really interesting and very well written, and I know the script was co-written by Natalie Morales and Mark Duplass. And I think it's really a testament to how great of screenwriters they are, because you're given glimpses into these characters and their traits, and it's never like explicitly said, oh, I feel this way or this way. It's through their actions and their conversations and their facial performances and everything about the way they deliver these lines that makes the story so engaging and unique for a COVID filmed movie. Because, like I said before, it never focuses on that. It's focused so much more on these people, understanding them and caring about them at an elemental level. Obviously, as far as filmmaking is concerned, it's all supposed to be through a laptop lens, so there's a couple cool things added into the film where we're shown like the connections breaking up between the two of them, and it works because you're in this world and you understand this world and the terms that they're in. And so the visual presentation isn't the most important part, but what I do like is, rather than just film the entire movie in one room where things would start to get blasé after a while, they really do shift the locations in the house and being indoors and outdoors, and that really helps keep your attention as an audience member. But the nice part is that these two performances are so captivating and well written that really what's going on the screen as far as behind these characters doesn't matter. It's all about the performance. And Duplass is someone who I really respect, and I think that even further on in his career, he just grows as an actor. He's incredibly talented. He's just a seemingly wonderful person, and same goes for Natalie Morales. I've seen her in a few films now, and the television show Dead to Me. I think she's a phenomenal actress, and it was really cool to see her direct this and her writing style. And I know she has another movie streaming on Hulu right now called Plan B, which I really want to watch because I really like her style of writing. I think she's clearly a very competent director, and that this movie is pieced together really well, and I look forward to seeing what's coming from her in the near future. Yeah, I don't have a lot more to say because this movie is so heavily driven on specific plot points that occur. I don't want to give a lot away. I do love the structure of the film and how it's pieced together in segments of the language lessons that they have with one another, and it really helps to, you know, kind of give an oversight into that period and how it relates to the emotional drama occurring on camera comparatively to the actual lesson in and of itself. I liked that dynamic, and I think that it was really intentional and well done. And like I said, I would highly recommend this movie. Go in as blindly as possible. The trailers really don't give too much away, which is nice. And this is turning out to be one of my favorite films of the year. I'm sure there's people that could pick it apart because it's a COVID movie. There's all kinds of things that people would probably say about, you know, it's two people on a screen. If that's not your type of thing, watching intense emotional dramas or character-driven films. But I loved that about this movie. I loved that it was focused on these two people, how they care for one another, the flaws of each character, the good parts of each character. And that's why it's one of my favorite things I've watched in 2021. So have you guys seen Language Lessons yet? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. I really loved this movie. I think that I can see myself revisiting over and over again and still enjoying it just as much the next time I see it. So I would highly recommend you go check it out. As always, I'm releasing new content weekly. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a whole bunch. Lets me know what kind of content you're looking for, what kind of content you don't want, and to help keep engaging with you guys. I love talking to you in the comments, hearing your opinions on movies. It's fun to have a conversation, and that's the greatest part about filmmaking and watching movies in general, is sharing your experience, what these movies mean to you, and getting each other's opinions, and maybe going in and revisiting a movie and getting a new and open mind about a movie that maybe you just didn't like the first time around. So yeah, definitely leave me a comment. I love having those types of conversations. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a great